What exactly got you to start chasing? And did you have any mentors that helped you along the way?
I've had a few. So it's an interesting story. One of the things that we talk about a lot with Girls Who Chase, and I'm actually headed to the mountains tomorrow to give a talk on that this weekend, is in some ways we all put barriers in front of ourselves. So barriers aren't necessarily just an external issue. They can also very much be an inside job. And I think in my case, I had a lot of reasons why I shouldn't have started storm chasing. Like you need the 4 year degree, it's dangerous, and you should go with experts. I think some element of it that was more subconscious was that I wasn't seeing people who looked like me in storm chasing media. Like I wasn't one of those avid consumers of reality television, and like I just was watching the Weather Channel when I was 8. And so anyone who was on air storm chasing, there weren't a lot of women in a lot of those shows. And so I think there's a bit of a subconscious decision making process that happens. And for me, the way that manifested was that I just practically decided I didn't belong and that this wasn't for me. And then I sort of quit trying to look into it. I didn't keep pushing. I just made the decision and then went on with my life and was kind of bummed about it. And I actually was on Facebook one day scrolling as one does and came across an ad for a discount on a storm chasing tour. And I didn't know those existed. I had no idea there was such a thing. And, I had been telling myself all this time, well, you should go with experts and it's dangerous and whatever. Well, here are some of the experts. So, of course, I had to go digging. But while looking at that ad, I actually caught myself saying, I can't do that. And I was like, where is this coming from, actually?
Hmm.
And how long have I been telling myself that about this thing that actually I'm really into? Um, I don't know if you've ever caught yourself in one of those moments where you're like, okay, this actually might not be true here. And it really, I thought this was an experiment. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
now I can see what it's really like. Maybe I have this whole concept of it that's not true and I'll just hate it. And then okay, fine. There's one way to know. Like, so it was very clear to me when we got back from the tour that, okay, clearly I'm interested in this and need to start digging. But what they gave me was basically enough information to be dangerous, pun intended,
Mhm.
like that I could
Hmm.
actually teach myself to forecast. There were resources out there, and that storm chasing was something that I could actually get out there and do on my own with the right information. But I had a moment shortly after that tour ended that is kind of always going to be my like coming of age story when it comes to storm chasing. So I lived at the time just north of Denver, Colorado, and typically a lot of storms will form in the foothills and then move east onto the plains and then react accordingly to their environment. And on that particular day, there was clearly a supercell, and I had just learned about the flying eagle presentation on radar. And so it was already rotating in the foothills and actually had a hook on it and was starting to move east onto the plains. And I was working from home and decided I was going to go after it. Like I just remember looking at that thing and thinking, okay, that thing's going to do it. And, I have enough of a clue that I'm not going to kill myself. So let's go. And I rushed out to the car and still had my pajamas on. I just remember standing outside of my car shouting, jumping up and down in my pajamas. Like this is the best thing that's ever happened. And that was probably the moment that like the monster that is Jen Walton Storm Chaser was really born. I think it was not just getting to see the tornado in person, which was an amazing experience. And luckily it was just kind of spinning in a field and then dissipated. So it wasn't doing damage. But also recognizing that I was the one that had gotten myself there. I think
Sure.
for me, that was incredibly uplifting and empowering. And that's the energy I think that is driving what I want Girls Who Chase to bring for other people. And again, it does not have to be driving out to see a tornado in your pajamas, although I highly encourage the whole experience.
The
But
whole
right,
package.
Well,
right. But just that energy of actually, you really can do this thing. And is the only thing standing in your way you?
Well,
Mm.
we're so glad, Jen, that you've put this program together. Hopefully, people feel inspired by the story you've shared here. And if they can relate to it and feel like they have things they want to achieve similar to the path you went down, this spring training event is for them. Saturday, March the 1st from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time,
Yep.
girlswhochase.com. We do have a QR code on the screen for anybody who's watching with us on YouTube or Facebook. And again, March 1st.